What's up, guys? So we are back working on the car again after the fire. If you seen my post on whatever, Facebook or Instagram the other day, I was considering doing a gear change, which at that time I had already made my mind up. So here we are. Here's a Motive 390 gear for the 8.8. So we're going to get that thing out of there, and hopefully we can get this one in and without having too much issues, and get this thing hopefully 60 foot and faster, and can use the tune-up a little bit better. So we're just getting ready to take all this out of here. So I'll kind of show you the new brake setup. Hit the strange dual caliper, the AFCOs, all the good stuff. And I just drained the fluid out, and we can see what she looks like. It's kind of, there was some stuff on the plug or whatever, so I'd bet you anything that this hasn't been off and taken apart since it was put together. So I'm sure the gears wore in and did everything, and the rear end's super loud, so we'll see what it all looks like. Really hoping for no bearings, but you never know, I guess. That's why we're trying to do this now, because I would love to go to No Prep Kings, but we'll see. Not in a huge hurry, because Cash at the Creek is the weekend after, and that's the race I really want to be at. So just trying to get the car up and running, basically, is the goal for now. So I'm going to pull this cover off. We're going to pop the axles out and get that whole kit and caboodle apart. Let's go for a ride and do it. All right, guys, so as you've seen, we pulled everything apart, and I got it all out, sitting over here. So there's the spool and the gear, and then here's the pinion, which kind of the battle of now is how to set the pinion depth, which tons of videos online. I don't have any of the right tools to do it, so we're just gonna wing it. And basically, I've talked to some people who do this a lot, and I asked them what they thought would be a good starting point. What I took out of the other one was a 30 thousandths shim. And then I kind of measured them, and the pinions from head to the bearing surface is slightly different. So that means from the bottom to where the bearing seats is like 10 thousandths different. So I put a 36 shim on that other one, and we'll just wing it. The bearing came off really easy off the other one, so if I have to take it apart, I'm not too concerned about it. It'll just be some messing around. But it's almost time to install the bearing. And how I'm going to do that, I have the pinion in the freezer. And then currently right now I have the bearing in the oven. They recommend about 400 at 20 minutes for what I've read. But I put it in there at room temperature and turn the oven on to 400, and you can smell it. She's getting warm, so I'll probably give her another few minutes to sit there and bake, and then it should slip right on. So we'll give her a shot and at least see what happens. I'll grab some gloves, and hopefully all goes well. And hopefully that's the last time that I have to put that thing on there. So I would love it if my guess was right. So we'll see. Probably won't be, but never hurts to try, right? So I'm going to get that guy pressed on there, and then we can go start putting all this other stuff in and doing the shims and doing all that other good stuff. Got a new seal for it too. So we should be set to go if it works, but we'll find out. All right, everything is very hot, so let's give it a shot. So grab the bearing. It should just slip right over. Maybe not. I don't know, it might not be hot enough. I can try to tap it down with something and see if she'll go, but I don't really have anything too good to hit it down with, so it's trying to, though. Now I don't know if I can get it off of here, which seems like I can't, so let's see if we can hit it down with something. So I ended up having to pound it on. but I did get it on here. It looks pretty good. So the bearing seems like it's okay. What a pain in the butt. Not really a big fan of that. The other one popped off much easier than this one went on, so that's super lame. But it's on there, and hopefully it's right. What's up, everyone? We are back to the point of finishing this whole thing off. So I didn't really film a whole lot yesterday. Kind of got off to a late start, but what we got going on here is you can see the paint there, and it is forward. And on the back side, it is also forward. And I can confirm that with these marks over here. So what that means, I have in this book pulled up over here, that kind of gives you the readings, is when both of them are forward, you need to increase the ring gear backlash, which I did. So I had this backlash to 8,000, so that means when you turn this in the rear end, without actually moving the gear, it's just gonna have 8 thousandths of play. And so I changed it out to 12, and it got a little better, but not enough. So what that means then is you have to increase your pinion depth, which if you've seen in my earlier video, I did not want to take this bearing off. But since time kind of got away from us, I was heading to work today. So I went ahead, used this guy, and pressed the bearing off, and it was actually super easy. So I added another 10 thousandths to the shim on this, and so hopefully now we got enough room to make it all right. We'll have to reshim the ring backlash, probably, maybe, we'll see. I'm gonna leave it at the 12 thou setting and see how it shows up. But I'll show you another convenient tool that I made at work for pressing that bearing on right there. So I actually got super lucky. Had this piece laying just as it is, and it already had an 1.5" hole in it, which is what that bearing size is. And it's actually slightly larger, but so that worked out good. And then it was 2 inches, which would have worked, but I just took 15 thousandths off of it, just so I was only pressing on the bearing part, nothing else. And faced the ends off so it's nice and smooth, and it worked absolutely perfect. So if you got yourself a press, do that. I turned the OD to 1.975, and you need an 1.5" ID, and then just make it long enough so you can press her all the way down. But we're gonna get this thing back in here and do some measuring. All right, so after some more dinking around, I think I finally got it. Sorry for the glare off my light. I came to get so you can see, but this is the coast side. You can see it's just a touch forward, but it's also the coast side. So it's not as big of a deal as the drive side, which you can see is pretty much right in the middle. So I'm going to run this. And from here, what you do now is I gotta take all this back out, including the pinion, and I'm gonna take that crush sleeve out that I just crushed and make a solid bushing. That's the exact dimension of the crush sleeve. So that'll give me the very same tightness, and then you're not gonna bang around that sleeve, loosening it out over time, which typically results in bad things happening. So I did it on the last car, and that rear end is quiet as can be, still humming to this day. So we're gonna do it again to this one. So no big deal, we'll just pull this apart one more time, change that sleeve out, and then put her back together and start breaking it in. Well, it is the next day. I went ahead and made that crush sleeve. It's not a crush sleeve anymore, it's just a solid bushing, but you get the idea. And I went ahead and slapped it all back together. So right now, I'm just letting the rear end oil, it's kind of hard, this chassis is pretty stiff, but drain into each end of the tube. And then we're gonna go break the gears in. And I'll give a little example of how a guy who used to build rear ends for a lot of people does it. So could be right or wrong, who knows, but that's how I've always done it, and it seems to work pretty good. So yeah, assembly didn't go too shabby. Seemed like the marks might have moved a little bit, but not enough for me to really be concerned about it. So we're gonna run it, and hopefully it's nice and quiet. So should be done here in a few minutes, and then we'll fire up for the first time in a couple weeks. All right, we should be dialed in. Let's see if she fires up. Oh yeah. I backed up and down my driveway a couple of times, and now I'm just gonna back around this little loop like 4 or 5 times and then go forward, and then we should be good. So let's start. Oop. Fuck. Oh, that was the butt button. It's hard to hold a phone and do this. But we're doing it. Uno. Now we go back forward. And as you can imagine, now we go back in reverse. And I'll do this about 4 or 5 times and then we'll call her good. So I'm gonna keep backing up and head her home, let them cool off. Well, first drive successful. They make a little noise on decel, but on acceleration they seem to be okay. And I don't know, it's hard to know because it's a little clunkier than the other gear, but it's also a lot more gear, so we'll find out. Everything seemed to be good. I just pulled the plug, draining the fluid out, which looks like it's mostly done. And then it's time for the Schaefer's 75-140. I run Schaefer's and everything, it's the best. This stuff right here. So we'll get that other crap out of there. That was just any old oil, basically used just to let the gears, you know, remove all their outer coatings or whatever and get their first heat cycle, then put the good stuff in and let her rip. So that's what we're gonna do. Well guys, that's gonna be a wrap for this. It is all filled up with oil. It seems to be good, so we'll take it out and try it, I guess. I was planning on going to No Prep Kings, but I don't know, you know, I haven't gotten any good runs on every single thing I've done to it since last fall. So basically 100% untested, especially with the new gear. So Rock Falls having a little heads up deal. Probably run out there. It's close to home. Won't cost me very much money. Probably get more runs in because if I get knocked out first round at No Prep Kings, I'm done. And then we go into next weekend with no test hits for Cache at the Creek, which is the race that I really care about. So I would rather go to Rock Falls, get some test passes in, learn something, you know, figure out this gear a little bit, maybe see if we can get the car hauling ass again. So that's the plan for it. Rock Falls Saturday, everything seems to be good. Got to put the diaper on. Had good oil pressure, it ran good. So I think we're set to go. That's about it, but appreciate y'all for watching. Rear end's kind of blow, but we got her done. So we'll see you next time.